Welcome to tonight's coverage of the BTDY Racing League Chase for the BTDY Cup. There's no place like home here at the Kansas Speedway for race 1. Colorado stays bottom, he slides up into one. He comes back at the track and he gets clobbered. Here comes Loveland to the inside. Jeff Wright will come home and he'll win the race and win the winner of the playoffs at the Kansas Speedway.
Left and right, that's what it's going to take to get around this place here tonight. And some of these drivers have driven it recently in real life. But week number 5, brought to you by Florida Skin Doctor and the BTDY Racing Series, live on VSPEED. It's the KHIO 75 by Prolivio. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Alex Gagnon. It's our second week here, Alex, and last week it was more of a conventional racetrack for these NASCAR ARCA Series stock cars, but this week we're going road course racing. Should be fun, should be interesting, as Brody Hayes has put it on the top spot.
That he has, and it's been fun to watch these guys in practice and then getting their qualifying laps in. Car looks to be a real handful out there tonight, so only those who can really wheel it, I think, are going to find their way to the front. It's going to be a real war out there trying to get this ARCA car to settle in, including parts where they are almost fully off the ground.
Brody Hayes and Keith Mayato are tied in the points for the top spot. Then you go back to Noah Mahalski, 6 points, down to Jace Cully. He's 14 points back. Remember, this is only week number 5, but the top 12 advance to this chase format. And you have the driver of the number 6 who drove the number 29 here just recently, Ryan Gimmel. He'll be starting outside the pole. It'll be interesting to see how Team VSPEED handles it here tonight as we get set for 65 laps. Track facts on your screen. Lime Rock opened March 5th, 1957. It's seen some reconfigurations and some changes over the years, but this 1.53 mile road course has an elevation change of around 40 feet on the backstretch. It all happens in one turn, and then you go up a hill, and you were talking about cars leaving the ground. It's a blind hill at that, so if anything happens on that portion of the racetrack, it's going to collect a few cars.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's like the corkscrew from Laguna Seca for the Indy Series, but if you're going up the corkscrew as opposed to down it, another one of those blind corners that you just need to make sure you put yourself in the right spot on corner exit. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the fence or in the forest if you end up getting over that fence. Should be quite the challenge for these guys tonight over 65 laps.
Pit road speed limit 35 miles per hour. 4 tire sets available with the admin's cautions only. And we'll have a competition caution at lap number 20 on our iRacing Fix setup. With that, though, it's time to take you trackside and get that grid up on the screen. Starting on the pole here tonight, Brody Hayes in the number 37. He's leading the points, or tied with the points. He's going to be your top car here tonight. To his left-hand side, it'd be Ryan Gimmel as they come across the line. Row number 2 belongs to Keith Mayato. Levi Cox in the 54, starting in 4th position. Noah Mahalski and Eric Hutton, row number 3. Then it's Dennis Faircloth in the 80. Jace Cully in 8th. Top 10 with Bailey Turner, James Loveland in the 02.
Yeah, back there in 11th, we find Dallas Sullivan alongside Michael Robinson. Back in row number 7 tonight, it will be Jeremiah Hobbs alongside the 999 of Logan Threlkeld. Row 8, Jake Mockey, Benson Weaver. 17th and 18th tonight, Michael Jones and Colton Frey Miller. And rounding out your top 20 on the grid, Cody Atkins and Rhea Massey.
9 more cars to talk about with Chris Simard electing not to take a time. Max Constant 22nd. Brady Wagoner, and Ryan Phillips in 23rd and 24th. But here we go, getting ready to go green. Live from Lime Rock. Green flag is out. And Christian Blackwell will round out your field. Here we go, week number 5 for BTDY. Cars off the racetrack, the 17.
Early trouble there for Frey Miller. Here is the uphill portion of the racetrack.
And you saw the car get really sideways there. I think that was the 5 of Alan Dice.
Lap number 1 goes the way of Brody Hayes. He has got the clean air on his nose. Ryan Gemmel, though, right to the back bumper. He's looking to take that lead away from that second spot as everyone already starting to get strung out single file here. Lime Rock, a very narrow race course, and it takes a big effort to make a pass here. You really got to capitalize when the car in front of you makes a mistake.
He said clean air on the nose, and Ryan Gemmel had Brody Hayes on the nose. As you watch him come over that hill, it is a handful. Let's go back here to some of these guys that are on board. Cody Atkins, there you go. You can hear the throttle pick up. Just lack of traction. Car is floating. Flare cloth around.
Oh, he's got some damage too. Take one more look at this here. Looking at that blue, white, and neon number 80 just gets loose coming out of the final corner, and will slide it up through the grass. Didn't make any contact with the wall, but certainly the tire's not going to be too happy about that as he falls back to 20th.
And thankfully for Faircloth, he's going to have the opportunity with the competition caution to get back into this thing. Didn't lose a ton of ground, was able to cycle back out around the 20th spot, but I'm sure a little bit frustrated as he's lost about 13 positions. And one of the few wins that the 80 car has here in BTDY came from a road course, so he can absolutely get around these places.
Absolutely, but a long hill to climb to get back up there. Luckily for him, there is that competition caution at lap 20. At least that's when it's scheduled. It's an opportunity to maybe try to get some of that track position back, but we're taking a look here. This battle for the lead still continues. Brody Hayes has opened up just over a half-second advantage over Ryan Gemmel. Those two, though, have put some significant distance on the rest of the field. You see 2.5 seconds separates the leader from Mayato back in third. And now it's 5 seconds from fifth on back. So we take a look here at the replay and you get a sense of what it's like going through the uphill section.
I'm just going to say there was a lot of wheel in this car.
Oh, yeah, there was. Big save from Hayes.
And they have to do that 60 more times.
Easier said than done, that's for sure. Because you can do it right 59 times. It just takes doing it wrong once. And that's all she wrote.
Ellis Sullivan off the racetrack here in turn 2. Trying to merge back onto the racetrack. Everybody able to avoid him. But he'll fall back to 21st now. And Faircloth around again. The 80 off into the grass.
And he's going to try to get this thing going. He's jumping in, though, just in front of the tail end of the line.
Oh, he lost it again.
Got loose again. Things
Struggles
just
continue.
Absolutely unraveling for Dennis Faircloth.
In the grass, lost it out here. Tries to get it back on the racetrack and get out of the way. Dennis Faircloth falls back. Dallas Sullivan also, he has exited the session. Big damage for this 46.
We'll take a look here. He had a good qualifying run, put this car 11th in qualifying, and then, they're going down here to the final series of corners.
Wow.
Gets loose, and unlike Faircloth, who cut to the inside toward pit lane, that car snaps to the outside of the racetrack on Sullivan, right into that tire barrier, completely caves in the front end, and that's going to probably be about all she wrote for Dallas Sullivan's chances here tonight.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I did get my cameras fixed up for tonight. So they are absolutely immaculate. I think this is probably the best ARCA camera pack I've ever seen. But
I'll tell you what, this is a fun view for us. I'm sure it's got to be a tantalizing view for Ryan Gemmel as well right now. That's how close he is to race leader Brody Hayes. He's been about that distance since the drop of the green flag. Just trying to keep pace with him, trying to wait on making his move. But it's just a little far back to really try anything at the moment as they just continue to escape Mayato and the rest of the field. I mean, at least Mayato's within 3 seconds here. Everyone else has fallen to 6+ back of the race leaders. I mean, there is your top 3, and there is Levi Cox in 4th, and that is the gap just the 3rd. It's the full straightaway almost between 3rd and 4th right now.
We're watching a pass for position here between Noah Michalski. He'll dive to the inside in turn 1. Still has the nose, and he has to lock it up. 54 of Cox kind of cut the nose off of the 03. Watch this battle unfold, and there's less than 2/10 separating these two drivers.
Yeah, right on the back bumper here. Going through the S's on the backside of the course. Here's the uphill section in turn 5. Looks so, Michalski a little bit of a shake. Trying to get there. There's less than a car length between the two of them there up until that moment. Cox, though, with a good turn 6. Able to open it up just a little bit here. Starting to get some distance. And holding on to that 4th for now. Just enough that he can breathe for a second before Michalski tries to reel him back in.
There's Bailey Turner as the cloud cover comes out on lap number 9. Turner has a win this season, a little bit deeper in points. He's missed a couple weeks, but in the few starts that he's had here, he's had success and looking for a top 10. So far running in the 6th position on board with the 24.
Right now, just going about it, doing his thing. He's about 2 seconds back, or about a second back, and Noah Michalski here in 5th. Really, though, it's that rear view camera that's going to be giving Turner some trouble here, as he has some faces in the mirror as well. There's Hutton sitting there just behind him. And that is the battle for 6th on the racetrack. We're seeing a lot of these cars, Bradley, start to pair up a little bit. You know, we're finding these little two-car battles, but nothing really bigger than that, at least through the top 10. It's at most these two-car battles. Here's one with maybe a little bit more company, as I say that. This is a little further back in the pack. That is Phillips back in the 18th position. And he's got plenty of cars in that hunt.
There's Cody Atkins, who just got passed by Phillips, and it's Benson Weaver, Ray Massey. Now we're starting to get back to that two-car tandem that you were talking about. The one of Weaver has stayed in 16th position since the start of this race, trying to hold on to it now with Ray Massey on the back bumper. Looking back at the 23. Not giving him any room here.
No, he's not. Gonna squeeze it just a little bit. The one gonna stay in front. Weaver holding on to 16th for dear life. Massey, though, oh boy, had a lot of speed going on the uphill. Didn't know where to carry it.
Oh.
He's trying to get to the inside of Weaver. Hit that curbing hard, and that might open the door for Phillips here on the inside in 7.
It does. Phillips with a little bit of a blink there. But yeah, Phillips saw that opportunity and pounced on it. Amazing drive there. I think if we're going to see problems on this racetrack, it's going to be right here. Ray Massey a little bit off there on the turn 1 entry. Got back around the Cody Atkins, going to go back by for 18th. And Logan Threlkel racing side by side. Or do you recognize that paint scheme with Hobbs?
Hobbs almost got put into the fence there when those two guys made contact door to door. There is not a lot of runoff there in 5. That got really dangerous for Hobbs.
Little door check there from Hobbs. And you remember, it was the 31 that was... It was one of the races that he was kind of favoring to finish in the top 3 and had issues there just last week.
Yeah. So right now, trying to get things going back the correct direction. Jeremiah Hobbs. So he's on the back bumper of Samard. See Threlkeld trying to put a little bit of distance here. He is the 30 car, the 999 scored on the timing tower. Running 11th at the moment.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you recognize the paint?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's been one of the more, dare I say, freedom-loving paint schemes of this year's ARCA series.
He's spreading his wings right now into turn 1.
That he is.
He's really spreading them.
He also may be using the chrome horn a little bit. Yeah. Just moved somebody. Now Jake Maki has a mirror full of Threlkeld. To see the 30 going to try to work around him. 13 just trying to hold on to it right now.
Wow. Threlkeld on a tear. He's gained 3 positions now, up to 11th. Michael Robinson will be the next car. Separated by about 6 seconds. And I'm going to venture to say he's probably not going to catch up to him before this competition caution. He absolutely could at the pace he's running. He's about a second faster now than some of these guys up in the top 10. But here's Brody Hayes continuing to lead. He's led all 13 laps that we've completed, about to be 14 as long as he can keep it underneath of him.
He's got a mirror full of Ryan Gemmel, though. This is the closest Gemmel's been since the opening lap. 0.2 of a second the difference right now. But once you get this close, you know, just getting to the back bumper is one thing, Bradley. Getting around someone, especially at a road course as narrow as Lime Rock, easier said than done. You're going to have to either force your opponent into a mistake or just lay in wait until they make one themselves. As you see Gemmel really applying the pressure here through turn 2.
One little hiccup for Hayes and it's all over. It's going to be Gemmel who's hung with the 37 since the start. He's kept him within a half a second. We've seen these drivers come up over this hill several times completely sideways. Brody Hayes doing a fantastic job with the pressure. And again, it goes back to last week at Gateway. Keith Maiato and Brody Hayes, it was the same kind of pressure. You had teammates right behind you. They were patient with one another. But for Brody Hayes, it was don't make a mistake or you lose this race. And ultimately, he was the dominant car. Keith Maiato got by him. And without those cautions late in that run, I don't think Brody Hayes comes back from that mistake he made out of 2.
I would be inclined to agree, but he was able to. Oh boy, someone, Blackwell, way off the track there in 2. He's having a really tough go of things here in this one. Just trying to get back onto the racing surface. A lot of dirt and grass getting deposited onto that racing line. But to your point, yeah, Hayes led the most laps last week and then had to kind of have the strategy call fall back the right way after he gave the lead over to Maiato. And right now, Gemmel taking the role of that 36 from last week and himself sitting right there in the tire tracks going into turn 1. He's been applying a lot of pressure. One thing, oh boy, a lot of the cars who see the leaders coming, they are just bailing out. Doesn't matter where they're at on the racetrack, they are just going anywhere else, and that typically means off the racetrack at the moment.
I believe that was the 91. Well, it's labeled as the 91. There it is. Zach Smith, and he just takes it to pit road. Tough break for some of these guys that are a little bit off the pace. Dallas Sullivan, Zach Smith, Adrian Loya, Christian Blackwell, all off the racetrack now. Todd Giles Jr. It's the next car. He's actually a lap down. There's Frey Miller in 24th. Cody Atkins, the last car on the lead lap. And there's the leaders right behind him. As you're seeing the 37 get a little sideways out of turn 2.
That's easier said, or a bit of an understatement. He is all over the place right now. Has gotten a mirrorful now at Gemmel. Gemmel's right there Does he try to make a move into 5 like what we saw Threlkel do a little while ago? Not to be this time around, but boy, he could just reach out and grab on to that spoiler if he wanted to. And with a little bit of lap traffic ahead, how does Hayes navigate it? This is a tough place on the racetrack to try to make the move. They dive in past Dice, and they got one more car of lap traffic still going up this front straightaway. Hayes trying to break the draft a little bit here in the 1.
You got more lap traffic there with Cody Atkins. I thought Atkins was going to be the next one, but Alan Dice had a little mistake there. Got passed by Atkins. And now into turn 3. Lap traffic still playing a factor here with the leaders. They've checked out from Keith Mayato by about 4 seconds.
And forget that. I mean, going back to 4th, it's a 15-second gap. The race, though, very much on at the front. Hayes and Gemmel. This is the penultimate time around before the competition caution at lap 20. Could be a huge pass here, track position-wise, if Gemmel finds his way around Hayes. Oh, he really drove it in deep there.
And 3 wide across the line. Caution is out. And the 55 holds on to the lead lap, but doesn't hold on to the race car. Wow.
No, I guess I will throw this out there. That's my bad. I thought they were racing through lap 20, not to lap 20 , so.
Well, I thought it was lap 30, so.
We're doing great up here tonight.
Yeah, that's where I am. Wow.
You
How
know,
about that?
I mean, we've had big close call there for Cody Atkins. We'll take one more look at it. They were. You see, 55 holds on the lead lap and sent it in so deep here.
Can you
Could
imagine
not get it.
the feeling?
Yeah. I'm hearing over the radio, sounds like the 55, and Cody Atkins was just saying, yeah, I was so focused on not being lapped, I forgot the brake.
Man. Well, there it is. Competition caution here on lap 20. We're watching Brody Hayes pace them around here. A few cars put a lap down, maybe going to try to take some wave arounds. Cody Atkins holds on to that lead lap. And even with going off the racetrack, the field was frozen. He was able to get back on there and go around the leaders. He'll be pulling in, but look at this pit road, how difficult that is.
Yeah, it's opposite side pit stops, narrow entry, narrow exit, small pit stalls as well. You see Cody Atkins, I think, just trying to get himself wheeled back around to even get down pit road. Entertaining start to this one here, Brad. I tell you what, we've got ourselves a fun little battle up front between that 37 and the 6.
Down and away from Brody Hayes, Ryan Gemmel. Tight battle there off for the 3rd position, Levi Cox. And Keith Mayato really close there. But it's Brody Hayes who's going to retain the lead for this restart on about lap 23. Don't go anywhere. We have more coverage to continue. You are watching the KHIO 75 from Lime Rock. More coverage on VSPEED right after this.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
We've been around since 1946, originated as a scrap yard and evolved into a full-on steel service center, buying and selling new steel products of light fabrication, such as cutting, shearing, bending, threading. We also run a wholesale pipe, valve, and fitting plumbing division, as well as a retail showroom outlet. And then we also are a full-on structural steel fabricator, which is the skeletal steel that you see in commercial and residential structures. We sell to a wide variety of contractors, plumbers, maintenance type personnel, underground utility companies. We sell anything from single nuts and bolts to like a typical hardware store type of feel, one fitting, to full semi-loads of pipes. We're a little deeper in our inventory, and we actually have maybe a little more specialized type of fittings and such. Stock quite a diverse inventory, so we try to keep everything here to keep you guys going.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in...
We are back here, folks, full screen on VSPEED. This race from Lime Rock Park, just back after its competition caution. Brody Hayes continues to lead out front over Ryan Gemmel and Keith Mayato. As action is unfolding everywhere in this field, Levi Cox passed by Bailey Turner. Cox almost got back to him there. Got a little bit loosened too, fell back just a hair, falling into the clutches of Eric Hutton behind him. As this battle 4th through 6th continues here into the uphill section. To take a look here, diving into this corner, 2 wide, multiple rows deep. Michael Jones, Logan Threlkeld. There's Jake Maki trying to make a move on the inside of the 2. Jones, oh, bit of contact with the 13. Well, they are going elbows out here. Going on the lap 26. Michael Jones and Jake Maki not giving an inch here.
You looked at Logan Threlkeld, he kind of, contact again there with the 2 and the 13, but Threlkeld got around that, tried to make quick work of it. Got side by side with Hobbs and the 27 of Ryan Phillips. Dennis Faircloth has recovered his race decently enough, but Michael Robinson off the racetrack in the 29. Oh, the 55
Oh, and there goes
sideways.
Atkins. Have to wonder if that was partially due to the fact that Robinson was just coming back onto the racetrack. Take a look here. This is on board with the 55. Robinson spins up there, and you see as he begins to re-enter. Yeah, Atkins just got a piece of the grass.
Yeah. Jeremiah Hobbs in the 31 off the racetrack as well.
Been a tough couple laps here. Yeah.
Workout here.
Very similar to what we saw happen earlier in this race. The Dennis Faircloth just getting loose off the final corner. And just spins it up into the wall. Just light contact with that inside tire wall.
This is a battle between Jace Cully all the way back to Ryan Phillips, Dennis Faircloth. Around 11th through 7th position, right on top of one another. Chris Simard up to the top 10. He's up 11 positions. How about that for the 77?
Yeah, it's been a slow, steady climb here for Simard as he's working around the outside of Dennis Faircloth at the moment. Good rebound from Faircloth as well, who was as low as 20th at one point today. So these two cars not only battling for the 10th position, but are battling to work their way up in the running order here. They've been going at it, just picking cars off one by one, really, since the drop of the green flag.
The All the VSPEED cars, Samard in 11th, the furthest back on the racetrack right now. We also have James Loveland. And I'm looking for James Loveland. He's in 8th position right now. But then it's Hayes, Gimmel, and Mayato just having a phenomenal day in the top 3. They controlled it there last week at Gateway. Gimmel, of course, not there, but picking up right where he left off. He's had a lot of success here, and Brody Hayes with the points lead, of course. It's been down to Team VSPEED so far these first 5 weeks.
Yeah, they've been really putting on a show as of late, and we saw that very much in effect last week, where it was really just the quartet of them, Levi Cox, who are really running in that lead group. And this week now, separating the top 2 VSPEED running cars, we have Ryan Gemmel in that 6 machine. Started second, continues to run second, and has not, very similar to last week, I feel like, Bradley. Brody Hayes has led every lap to this point, but has not been able to get away from the field. That was the case last week at Gateway. It continues to be the case here today. As Bailey Turner, a look to the inside of Mayato, he might be able to take away the 3rd spot here.
Not able to complete that pass through turns 3 and 4. Will actually cut through the grass a little bit. Levi Cox has fallen back to 5th. Eric Hutton patiently waiting back here for any of these drivers to make a mistake. Look at that uphill with all those cars nose to tail ahead of this. One of those drivers makes a little hiccup, it's over.
There we go, down that front straightaway. Turner pulling alongside Mayato. He'll have the inside position in the 1. Drives it in deep. Was not able to clear, though, on corner entry. Gonna be able to maybe make it happen off of the exit, and he will. And now Levi Cox going to battle with the 36 of Mayato here. That's for the 4th spot now. Is Bailey Turner going to pose a new look here, a new threat potentially to Ryan Gemmel as he's closing in on his back bumper. The 24 showing a lot of life here in the 2nd stage.
Started in the 9th position. Had a little bit of a rough start, got into some traffic, wasn't able to overtake the guys as fast as he wanted to. But here on this restart, he was in around the 5th spot and has powered his way to 3rd position. 24 car looking just as fast as these front 2.
And now 24 of Turner to the inside is going to take that spot away from Gemmel. Levi Cox looking to follow him right through the gap.
Special.
Wow. Gemmel falls back to 4th. Mayato now runs 5th, and they've got Eric Hutton on their wheels as well. Tell you what, Bailey Turner has found something here in the past couple laps. He's picked off the cars who are running 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, and now he's got a 2nd of clean racetrack to try to get to the race leader, Brody Hayes. There goes Hutton. Samard trying to make his way up. He's following Faircloth. These 2 guys now run 9th and 10th as they've gotten past Mahalski. Battles happening all throughout this field. There's Cost trying to chase down Weaver as they go in the 1. Someone locked it up big time in front of him. I want to say that was Michael Jones who torched the brakes in the turn 1. But yeah, there's the battle, 16th through 18th on the racetrack. That is Benson Weaver just trying to hold on to that spot right now. He's got a mirror full, though. That's 63.
Michael Robinson also in this mix as well. 29 car off the track there earlier in this race, down 6 positions, but on recovery now and halfway through this event. Yeah, just such a handful. I get anxiety watching them. Imagine driving this car, coming over that hill, It's not worn off on me yet, and we're halfway through this race. I'm still feeling it.
Yeah, no kidding. We jump on board here, just getting a sense of what it's like driving this racetrack, going back over the hill, and just feel the airtime here for Hayes. You can feel how light that car gets up and over the hill. And going down the backside of this racetrack, his lead that was 1.1 seconds just a couple of laps ago starting to evaporate a little bit. Bailey Turner now only 0.6 back. He was 0.4 just a moment ago. Getting a little bit larger in that rear view mirror. He's also starting to get some distance here from Levi Cox. Laps last time, boy, 3.5 tenths faster for Bailey Turner than Brody Hayes that last time by. The 24 is closing in and closing in fast.
You got to wonder, though, is Brody Hayes maybe dialing it back a little bit? These guys like to play those telemetry games where you look at that relative and you say, oh, I'm faster than that guy, I'll keep pushing it. And then by the time you get to him, you realize he was saving tires the whole time, and they find another gear and just pull away from you. Sometimes that's the games you play to just maintain the lead.
And that is absolutely a possibility that we could be seeing here, but we also know very much last week, as you see here, it looks like Brody Hayes ran about a 10th faster. Oh, somebody torched it going in the one. More cars bailing out of the way of the leaders.
I'm not sure who that was. I think it was Frey Miller in the 17.
I think you're right. I believe it would have been Colton Frey Miller who dived out of the way. So Hayes continues the lead. Here comes Turner and Cox. Gemmel, Mayato continue the run 4th and 5th, but yeah, I don't know. Brody Hayes really wasn't able to get a ton of separation from the field last week at Gateway. Could be a similar case here today where he's running just hard enough to hold on to the lead. As you see, Turner got a little bit too much curve there in 6th. Kind of threw the car off balance.
And watching the pace here for the 54, you said Bailey Turner found something, but I think Levi Cox has been a little bit faster than both these guys up front. That time by makes a liar out of me as a 10th off, and they'll trade that back and forth all the way through this race. Battle for the 11th position as Dennis Faircloth has a little bit of an issue, and I think in the background there's a car off the racetrack. Frey Miller had a problem again down pit road.
And now the 17 gonna bring it into the pits. And I think this will be a case of what we saw a couple times tonight where you get down into 7 and the car just steps out on you. You see Samard, big dive to the inside. The 17 tries to get... Oh, no. It was not a situation getting loose. He just got run over by Dennis Faircloth. Holy.
I thought you were right until I saw the 80 car flash across my screen. Here it is on board with Faircloth in the final corner.
Yeah, joke's on me for thinking it looked kind of, where he was placed on the racetrack looked similar to how those guys had spun out previously today. And nope, that was not at all what happened. That was very much a situation where the 80 just got all of them going into the corner.
There's Noah Michalski down pit road. Fuel only stop for the number 03. Back out on the racetrack. Michalski started in the top 5. He's back in 21st position here, starting the cycle of green flag pit stops with around 30 laps to go. This has been eventful, and you know, BTDY never shy on the action, but how many road course races have we watched together, Alex, that we pretty much know who's going to win? This one, it's not settled at all, and we were kind of treated to something similar to this just a week or two ago in Racing Revolution. We thought, oh, they'll come out here and, you know, Jeremy Burns is just going to run away with it. And then it turned into a real event. They were within 2/10 the whole race for the last 20 laps.
And we're seeing something similar here tonight. And this time, though, what's unique is that we got a couple of different challengers because Gemmel was there for the first 30 laps. And now it is very much a combination of Bailey Turner and Levi Cox who are going to be applying the pressure here. We'll jump on board. That is Ryan Gemmel running in the 4th position. You can see the gap that's been opened up about 1.2 seconds to this lead group. Turner in the middle of that. Sorry, Hayes, Turner, and Cox. They're really all nose to tail through the front half of this race course. The 37 really wide in that corner. Almost opened the door for Turner to dive in. Here comes Levi Cox. He might have an opportunity to make a move here. You can see how little the distance is. Man, we have got ourselves a 3-horse race for the lead here at Lime Rock.
Brody Hayes has led every single lap thus far. But coming up on 25 to go, it doesn't look like he's got the long run pace. These 3 cars behind him, Gemmel even picking up on him now, as he was a little bit faster that last time by about 3. No, I take that back. He was almost a second slower. Mistake here for the 6 car. He ran a 53-second lap time, and now he has Keith Maiato on the back bumper.
There is the battle for the lead. Hayes sits 2/10 clear right now of Turner. You can see just how much of that mirror Bailey Turner is filling up right now for Brody Hayes. Here comes a potential move. Thought about it real quick in the turn 6. Didn't have the room to put the nose in there though. And that is part of the difficulty here with Lime Rock Park. There's only so many opportunities you really can pass, and so much of this racetrack too narrow to really make it happen. So you see diving into turn 1, there's a potential opportunity. Right to the back bumper. Levi Cox trying to do the same. The Bailey Turner, boy, they are all stacked up behind the 37 right now. A little bit of contact maybe, yeah.
I don't know if they touched, but he definitely cut the edge of that corner to try to get on the rear bumper. Oh, there is contact there with the 24. Levi Cox ran into the back of him.
Yeah, 54. I think to your point you made earlier, Bradley, the 24 has got better pace maybe than the 37. I think the 54 might have better pace than both of them, and was starting to get a little impatient, I think, and just gave maybe a bit of a warning shot to Turner here.
Let's go back on our instant replay and take a look at this. There's the cut there where you thought there was contact, and then you're going to see it about 2 corners later. Then 24 is going to check up here, and Levi Cox says, hey, pass him or get out of my way. I think that's what he said.
It's about probably. Loose translating, of course.
Yeah.
So Gemmel's now fallen back to 6th as Eric Hutton has made the pass there around the 6 car.
There's Alan Dice, Michael Robinson getting around for the 17th position. Alan Dice started a little bit deeper back in the 21st position, I believe it was. 25th. So he's gained a few spots here tonight. Noah Michalski, who started off this green flag pit stop trend, he's still in 19th, and I know he has enough fuel to make it to the end of this race, but he's stuck back here in traffic, and you have to wonder how much time is he losing now till a possible top 5.
That always is the debate, you know, especially when you're pitting on a road course of like, you want to really try to put yourself in a position where when you exit pit road, you're either going to have a lot of clean racetrack or cars that are going to be easy to pass, and that may not quite be the case right now for Michalski as he's taking a look to the inside of Cost. Might get by me, I think he did. Only 21 cars left on the lead lap here. They're slowly starting to fall away as you see this battle for the lead. I mean, this has not changed. We just got a 3-car freight train up at the front of the field. Brody Hayes making that number 37 machine about 3 lanes wide right now. As Turner almost gets back to him again.
This just looks like a classic road course. You've got Gordon on the windshield there. How many times have we seen that in real life where the 24 car runs up front?
Yeah.
Wiggle there for the
Gotta find-
54. You can go back to the archives of so many races, especially at Sonoma, where the 24 of Jeff Gordon would just decimate the field. And then there was a lot of times that, you know, we go see Tony Stewart. I mean, it just kind of changed hands. Mark Martin was another good one to get around that place. And right now, Brody Hayes is the one to beat here in the sim realm. He has led every single lap. Of the 44 we have completed, 20 to go when we cross the stripe. He's got his hands full.
Yeah, he certainly does. It is another week for the 37 where he will lead the most laps, but another week where it is definitely not a done deal yet, as Bailey Turner and Levi Cox continue to apply pressure here in the second and third spot. They are starting to gap the cars behind them, though. Eric Hutton has actually gotten around Keith Mayato, so the 88 now up to fourth. Mayato falls back to fifth, just ahead of Ryan Gemmel. Those are the only cars within 5 seconds of the race lead. The three we just saw, plus these guys right here. We jump on board with Mayato as he tries to recapture that fourth position from Eric Hutton. Hutton, though, doing a good job, just kind of slowly working his way through the field. Started sixth, fell back a little bit, but has rebounded nicely. And we got some other, big movers here in the top 10. Chris Simard has gone from 21st to 9th. And Ryan Phillips, 24th to 10th. He's up 14 right now as he tries to hold off Logan Threlkeld.
Right now, Ryan Phillips, the biggest mover of this race. Logan Threlkeld just behind him, up 3 positions. And
someone's on the front straightaway.
Did I find the right car? I don't know.
I think you did. It was the 28 of Robinson. Or sorry, not the 28 of Robinson. It was the 28, but it was Wagoner who went around and just immediately brought it down pit road.
Was he trying to enter the pits, or was this a mistake? Well, there's pit road.
Well, I'm about to say, either way, it seemed to work out for him pretty well, whether that was by design or not. Didn't hit anything, was able to come right down pit road, and didn't really cost himself a ton of time from that spin. And he'll get back out there. He is currently scored a lap down, but very much still running on the racetrack.
There's a look at the last lap that these drivers came down pit road. And for a lot of these cars, it was at that competition caution. You can see 20 through 21 for most of the top 10. Then you have drivers that are outside the top 20 that are showing, lap 35 or so. Lap 37 from Michalski. There's a lot of different strategies outside the top 10, but if you're in this top 5 right now, you're all going to pit around the same lap. I would say within a lap of each other at most.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really it's going to be a matter of Hayes is going to be at most only pitting 1 lap off from when Turner and Cox do. It's really a matter of when the 24 and the 54 decide to play it, because if you come down the same lap as the 37, you're not going to get any sort of strategy differential that you may have had otherwise. You see just how close Bailey Turner got there and won, and he can just reach out and grab him, just not finding that little extra bit to get a nose alongside the rear corners here. Just gets right up to the back bumper and really has nowhere to go with it.
He's found a couple different opportunities for a pass, but that 37 doing really well of defending on the apexes of these corners. And I think for Turner right now, maybe kind of a shadow boxing match here. You don't want to run into him and deliberately, turn him around, but you also want to ride in his wake and keep the pressure on. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the 24 peel down pit road and just kind of fake the 37 out. Get him so focused on staying ahead of him and then just bring it down pit road so effectively that he passes him anyway with the execution.
Yeah, I got to imagine that's part of the goal here. They will need to stop before the end of this one, but oh boy, look at this log jam of lap traffic here going into the uphill section. Hayes is going to try to slide on by. That's a tough place to get through lap traffic. Bailey Turner right on the back bumper. Here goes Levi Cox as well. Everyone gets through Dice okay, but there's still 2 more cars of lap traffic. They're going to try to get by Weaver now off of 7. That almost got a little hairy. Turner got himself a run. Big block thrown by Hayes. And now Bailey Turner took a peek to the outside, back to the inside. Has a nose there. Oh, just quite not enough. Brody Hayes holding on for dear life right now.
And in that exact moment where they were passing that lap car, Bailey Turner saw the opportunity. We'll back this up one more time. Watch this down the front stretch.
Now you see here, he caught Weaver in a weird spot. Big block. And then you see the over-under attempt here from Bailey Turner. Tried getting to the inside of the 37. Really shot it in there and just came up a tad bit short and getting alongside him. And they'll settle back in just behind him. Boy, it's a fantastic duel for the lead as we see more takers on pit road now. Here comes Max Cost.
A lot of fuel-only stops here.
Trying to spend as little time as possible on pit road. Which obviously is the name of the game when pitting.
Yeah. Well every
especially
time,
like, yeah, but like, yeah, really emphasizing that fact by no one taking tires, because that is time that you're not going to be able to make back up on the racetrack, even with some fresh. I was going to say Goodyear Eagles, but I realized I think it's probably some fresh General tires.
Yes.
With this being the ARCA series. But either way, teams decided that not worth the time to try to replace them, and fuel only the way to go here in the late stages.
Another peek to the inside. I've been watching this 24 car. It seems like his best opportunity on the 37 has been into turns 1 and 2. And then after that, Brody Hayes pulls back out, kind of relaxes that gap a little bit. And we're watching Levi Cox, who had the opportunity a couple times to get around these guys, just couldn't find the window of opportunity to complete it. Starting to fade out a little bit here. He's still matching the times, but every now and then he makes a little mistake and gives up a 10th here or there. And then back here with Ryan Gimmel, who's back on offense, all over the back bumper of Eric Hutton for 4th.
Yeah, Gimmel, that car starting to come back to life a little bit here. Got past Keith Mayato. He's over a second clear, and despite a little wobble there off the final corner, gets right to the back bumper of Hutton. He might be looking to make a move here in the turn 1, depending on if the 88 swings it wide. He does not. Good battle developing now for this 4th position as well. They currently sit about 3.5 seconds back of the race leader.
Another battle brewing up here with Jace Cully, James Loveland. 0-2, up 2 positions. Chris Simard up 12 behind them. Dennis Faircloth, again, great recovery for his race. Had a couple mistakes at the beginning portion, the first 20 laps, and he still has a little bit of left front damage. But right now, riding in the 10th position. And it looks like that micro sitter number 80 has a real shot at a top 10 to finish out the night.
Yeah, it's been a very up and down day for Dennis Faircloth. Does not look like he's going to get any higher probably than that 10th spot, 11 seconds up to Chris Simard, but doing a good job getting him back to where he was running before that spin as we watch this battle from the sky cam.
Boy.
And
right in front of the leaders.
Yeah,
right in front of the leaders.
Gets stacked up. Hayes bumps off of Robinson, checks him back into Bailey Turner, opens up a huge gap to Cox, and here comes Bailey Turner looking for the lead. This lap traffic proving to be incredibly difficult for Brody Hayes at the moment. Oh, big wiggle for Turner.
And the two, Michael Jones is going to move.
Yeah. I don't blame him after watching what happened with Robinson and Hayes there. Getting a bumper full.
Another one of those move out of the way moments. This top three has been rather close to one another. You've got Cody Atkins back here, who's a lap down, but starting to show some pace that he might try to get his lap back. Remember, during that competition caution, he fought really hard to stay on that lead lap. Currently running in 17th.
Yeah, now he's battling for position again, because there is Michael Jones and Robinson. Both of these guys also scored one lap down at the moment. Let's try to sneak on by him. So you see now, here's a move almost from Robinson on Jones. Not to be. Less than 10 laps to go. You can make it 9 this time around. Brody Hayes leads by 0.4 of a second. So you see Weaver goes off there. We'll take a look here at what happened. Benson Weaver trying to hold off Chris Simard, although they were not running on the same lap. Simard on the lead lap. Weaver 1 lap down, got real loose, and an amicable decision to not spin into Chris Simard, but does end up putting it in that metal barricade. That's definitely going to leave a mark.
Battle for the lead on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Less than 10 laps to go. Turner still on pace with the 37. We're starting to see Brody Hayes maybe come into his zone here. Are they going to push it all the way to the end? Do they wait till 5 or 6 to go? We've had cars already come down pit road for fuel, and that leads me to believe that everybody will have to do so. But with tunnel vision here, I think Brody Hayes would like to stretch out this lead a little bit before he comes in. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. Do they have to pit? That's the other question I have here.
Yeah, that really is the question of the hour. Gonna have to assume yes, but they are gonna let this thing go as long as they can. Trying to get by the lap traffic here of Frey Miller. Turner right on the back bumper through 6, into 7 they go. The 24, I think, has been a little bit better in turn 1, but if he got a good run off of 7, he might be able to make that move. As you see, Gemmel works around Levi Cox into 6, back to 3rd. That car starting to come back to life a little bit here on the long run.
Keith Maiato just behind
There's
the 88 of
well.
Hutton. Still trying to navigate some of this traffic. I mean, it's hard enough to keep pace with the guy in front of you, but then you throw in some of these guys that maybe are a little off the pace, or you meet them at the wrong time on the racetrack. I've seen that become a factor a couple times for this 37 machine, and now up on another car, the 31 of Hobbs. He'll have company in his mirror in just a couple corners.
Oh, he certainly is. Just see, there goes Hayes and Turner. Hobbs going to let him go by here. Laps continuing to tick away, 6 to go now. As Turner again going to drive it in deep. Oh, he makes a bit of contact off the back bumper. Or if not, he got damn close. Man,
Right
we've
on.
got ourselves a duel. Yeah, I mean, the 24 in turn 1 is going to be able to make something happen if he could just stay, I don't know, maybe a foot closer down the front straightaway. And Brody Hayes, time and time again, has just been able to maintain just enough of a gap that the 24 can't get to him in 1.
And I'm looking at the rest of this field. Some of the cars that came in and topped off with fuel, I'm starting to debate if that was a wise decision. Noah Mahalski was the first to do so. He's brought himself back up to the 14th position, but he's the last car on the lead lap and at threat of going a lap down with 5 to go. I don't think the rest of this field is going to pit. They would have done it already.
Yeah, it's seeming less and less likely here. Hayes continues to sit out front. Levi Cox, who was in this battle for the longest time here in the back half of this race, is kind of falling off a little bit. He's back behind Gemmel. They're about 5 seconds adrift. So now it's just Turner and Hayes. Oh, some contact. Oh, Turner's in the wall. Oh, no.
Damage on the left front. They both make a mistake in the uphill portion of the racetrack, but Turner gets the worst end of it.
And by a wide margin, he ends up in the fence. Brody Hayes, that car didn't even look like it got all that disrupted, but he will have a little bit of rear end damage. Take a look at this. This is, I believe, going to be the defining moment of this race.
Hayes
24 got such a run.
Seconds.
Yeah, look at this. 24 got such a run through the uphill. 37 got loose, and as the 24 made contact, it just dumped the 24 in the wall. Unreal after Bailey Turner had spent the past 25 laps hounding the back bumper of Hayes. That little wiggle puts him in the barricade. Unreal.
Back to our live shot as we're coming up on 3 to go. Turner now with that damage, probably just trying to salvage this second place finish as he's lost another 0.4 of a second that time by Ryan Gemmell into turn 1, catching up to him a little bit here.
That sits with 3 laps to go now. And this one, at least for the podium, I would say more or less potentially settled. You see, there goes Turner, there goes Gemmell. Maiato has some company behind him, though, with Levi Cox, Eric Hutton, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Quite a battle, maybe for 3rd as well, but Gemmell is starting to add a little bit of distance to him. On board here with Eric Hutton, you see the 2 cars directly in front of him. That is 4th place Keith Maiato and 5th place Levi Cox. And here comes a run for Hutton down in the 7. Gonna just think about trying to get in there, but not quite.
Little mistake there from Levi Cox. He went off the grass there on the uphill. Now a dive to the inside as Hutton will look to the right side of the 54. And off the racetrack a little bit there for Cox. He'll fall back to 6th.
You see there is the race leader. Brody Hayes currently sitting 3 seconds ahead of Bailey Turner. He is about to go all the way here, wire to wire, from the pole, and is going to lead every lap. But just like last week, Bradley, no part of this felt like it was really secure until the final couple laps.
No, it did not. But this time, not only did he start on the pole, but he led every single lap of this event. And what will go down statistically as a dominating performance. Another win in a row here for Brody Hayes, as long as he can hold on to it. Don't look now, though. Bailey Turner is picking up the pace. And if Brody Hayes makes a mistake, he still has a lot of corners left here. And some lap traffic could be a factor. You never know. At Lime Rock, the uphill portion with 2 more corners.
But he gets through that portion of the racetrack okay. That was, I think, going to be the biggest question mark, as is the last corner of this racetrack. We've seen a lot of folks spin there. Needs to make one more good one.
And here he comes off the final corner for the final time. Brody Hayes is going to win at Lime Rock, week number 5.
Valiant effort from Bailey Turner tonight. Goes from 9th to 2nd. Was in that hunt the whole way for the race win. Just came up a little bit short. Keith Maiato going to get back around to take that 3rd spot. Something happened late to the driver of the 6. Ryan Gemmell currently being scored a lap down and in the 19th position. Something happened to the 6 right at the tail end of this race, Bradley.
See if we can go back and find what happened to him. He was running in the 3rd position. Not exactly sure.
Everything looks all fine and good there. You see Maiato closing in from behind, but he's still about 4 car lengths back. All good and fine, unless there was just a weird scoring error in Iris, if there was some sort of black flag that he had or something. I don't know what it would have been for, but it all seemed normal from that vantage point.
Well, this would be the white flag here, I believe. It's interesting to see Keith Mayaudo just behind him, who gets back up to third. I'm at a loss here, unless it was a connection issue. Would have been abrupt. He just kind of pulled a long...
I can't imagine he would have run out of fuel, no?
I think so. I believe he did.
Wow. That's a brutal end to this race. The driver is number 6, Ryan Gemmel. Man, that's a tough way to end it, especially with everyone else who didn't pit. I mean, everyone else seemed good there. I wonder what happened. Wonder if they didn't get that thing all the way fueled up.
Don't go anywhere. We have post-race coverage, interviews with your top 3, and those final race results for the BTDY FloridaSkinDoctor.com Racing Series. More coverage of the KHIO 75 right after this.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at FloridaSkinDoctor.com.
We've been around since 1946, originated as a scrap yard and evolved into a full-on steel service center, buying and selling new steel products of light fabrication, such as cutting, shearing, bending, threading. We also run a wholesale pipe, valve, and fitting plumbing division, as well as a retail showroom outlet. And then we also are a full-on structural steel fabricator, which is the skeletal steel that you see in commercial and residential structures. We sell to a wide variety of contractors, plumbers, maintenance type personnel, underground utility companies. We sell anything from single nuts and bolts to like a typical hardware store type of feel, one fitting, to full semi-loads of pipes. We're a little deeper in our inventory, and we actually have maybe a little more specialized type of fittings and such. Stock quite a diverse inventory, so we try to keep everything here to keep you guys going.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at DuncanWaterSystems.com.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD
Back here live at Lime Rock, where we have concluded week number 5 of the BTDY Racing Series. And Brody Hayes, back-to-back wins now, and the coverage that we've had here for BTDY. Bailey Turner, Keith Mayato getting a top 3, but it was a race that was up for grabs all the way up to the last 4 or 5 laps. And the contact there between Brody Hayes and Bailey Turner sets Turner back 2.5 seconds. That doesn't really tell the whole story. You'll definitely want to go back and watch these last 20 laps or so as we watched the top 3 right next to one another. And it's Levi Cox who falls back to 5th. Eric Hutton able to get around him. But the big story here was running out of fuel. The driver that was running in 3rd when we took the white flag had to bring it down pit road. And unfortunately for Ryan Gimmel, he's going to finish outside the top 10. Chris Simard's going to finish in 6th spot. James Loveland in 7th. Then it's Jace Cully for 8th position. Logan Threlkeld with the top 10. Ryan Phillips rounding out that top 10 position.
Yeah, back in 11th, it'll be Jake Maki just ahead of Noah McCall. Sorry,
Noah
I completely.
You got it.
Yes, yeah, I got it right. I said it and didn't feel right, but yeah, Noah Mahalski, the last car on the lead lap tonight. He'll finish 12th. Dennis Fairclough finishing 13th tonight, 1 lap down. Robinson there, Michael Robinson finishing 14th, just ahead of Michael Jones in that 15th spot. Cody Atkins, 16th, just ahead of Ray Massey, and 17th. Alan Dice going to be 18th here tonight. Benson Weaver finishing 19th, and Max Cost rounding out your top 20.
Brady Wagoner is going to finish 21st. There's Ryan Gimmel back to 22nd now after timing the scoring has caught up to it. Jeremiah Hobbs, 23rd position. Colton Freymiller is going to finish 24th. Todd Giles Jr. in 25th. Zach Smith, early exit for him, 41 laps down. 50 laps down. Adrian Loya also off the racetrack, 59 laps down. Dallas Sullivan had problems off the racetrack, 60 laps down. And then it's Christian Blackwell rounding out your field. Now it's time to take you down trackside and get a word with your top 3. The first driver that we're going to pull into the broadcast booth is, we normally like to bring these guys down here to the waiting room. I guess I missed that opportunity. First driver we're going to pull in is Keith Mayato in the number 36, our 3rd place finisher. And Keith, I know last week it was one of those races that cautions fell. It got away from you in that situation. You were definitely the faster car. This week, it was just lap traffic after lap traffic after lap traffic. It was just hard to hang with those top 3.
It definitely was, especially in before the comp caution. Those guys were not making mistakes, and I had like 2 little hiccups, and it set me back. So I was hoping for redemption in the last stage, but unfortunately we were on fuel saving the whole time, so it was definitely not how I was expected to go. It was a long, grueling 40 laps trying to save fuel and not make a mistake.
Yeah, and we had actually looked at some of these drivers that had brought it down pit road about lap 35 to 37, and it made us kind of wonder, were you guys going to actually be able to make it? Who was going to blink first in that top 10? And actually nobody did. There was kind of a shortage on fuel for a couple of you, but overall, you guys made it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I saved probably a little bit too much. I had like an extra lap, so it would have been. I kind of got caught in between guys that were taking advantage of me saving fuel, and kind of learn for next time not to give up the spot so easy, and that way I don't lose so much ground on the leaders. But all in all, it was a good, solid top 3. It's kind of based on pace, other than with Ryan and Brody. I figured I was gonna just slide in there and finish top 3. So I didn't really think I was able to finish 1-2 on tonight. So I'm happy with that.
Well, Keith, it was a great week last week. You were tied in the points there with Brody Hayes. I know this one is probably going to set you back a couple, but still a solid start to the season, 5 weeks in. Anybody you want to shout out for how this series has went so far?
Yeah, shout out to everyone tonight. Actually, it could have been a lot worse. With the amount of cars we had, how tight the track is, it was actually everyone was giving room. And shout out to my VSPEED teammates for giving some assistance tonight, whether on how to run the track. But yeah, that's about it. It was a good race overall.
Keith Mayato finishing 3rd another top 3 finish here, back-to-back weeks. We'll look forward to seeing you in 1 week's time.
Sounds good. Have a good night, guys.
Now moving on down pit road, we have Bailey Turner, our second place finisher, and it looks like we have Alex Gagnon catching up with him.
See here. There we go. Hey there, Bailey. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Congrats on your run here tonight. You started 9th, worked your way all the way up the 2nd, was really cutting through the field, and then you got into quite the duel there at the end with Brody Hayes. Talk to us a little bit about that battle for the lead, and then what happened in the uphill section with a couple to go.
Yeah, first off, just man, what a crazy race. I had never stepped foot on this track until about 45 minutes ago. So, just from my recollection of watching, the ARCA race and little bits and pieces of the truck race the other day, it was kind of piecing the course together in my head and really learning a lot from those VSPEED guys. They were really fast in practice. And then, just started the race, just didn't want to make any dumb mistakes. The worst thing you can do is go off track and take yourself out of it. So my thing, the whole first run was just underdrive it, try to get some track position, and then, go full send in that second half of the race. And we knew it was going to be a fuel mileage race, and those usually play well into my hands. But still, strategy was to get ahead of those VSPEED guys and then kind of start backing the pace up a little bit. And, as I started to back the pace up, I actually got faster. So that just shows, overdriving it probably a little too much. But shout out to Brody. I don't know if this is the first one or not, but that was a heck of a battle. I was trying to basically push him hard enough to where he'd run out while really managing my stuff, and was going to be good to the end there for probably another half a lap. So was going to try to stay right on his bumper and hopefully get him to run out. But I was a little faster through that section. I think he was trying to save a little bit through there, and he just got loose, and as he corrected it, hooked my bumper, and nothing malicious, I don't think. I think it was just wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. So can't be too disappointed with second place. A little disappointed with how it ended. It felt like that could have been a great battle all the way to the finish. Huge shout out to Brody and also the teammate Eric Hutton over there. We were both talking about how bad we were going to be during this race, and we're going to have to pull some crazy strategy to try to win it, and instead, made it up there on pace tonight, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, both of you guys wicked fast, both top 5 finishes, and I guess the natural question I'd have to ask you here is, let's say that contact through the uphill section with 3 to go doesn't happen. Do you think you had the run to get around Hayes and pick up the win here tonight?
It's tough to say. I know he was backing up his pace a little bit, so I'm sure he would have turned the wick up a little bit in that last lap. And I'd kind of been riding around in his dirty air the whole run, so the right front or left front was a little bit cooked late in the run, but Brody's raced me really clean as far as a lot of our battles for the win and up front, so definitely wouldn't have done anything malicious. If I could have just given him a little nudge to try to scoot him up the hill a little bit, try to get a run, I would have, but it was going to be a great battle all the way to the end. So appreciate him running me clean, and I was going to try to do the same.
Awesome. Well, Bailey, congrats on the P2 run tonight. You're up from 9th place to 2nd. Anyone you'd like to shout out here on tonight's result?
Yeah, shout out to the admins. I mean, crazy to have a 30 car field on a road course in an oval league. So really cool for that to happen. Definitely made for some interesting scenarios with lap traffic throughout the race. Shout out to you guys in VSPEED. Really cool. You guys stick with it here in BTDY, and again on the Saturday nights over there in SNR. Thanks to you guys, Dennis Faircloth, for all the work he does for my paint schemes throughout all my other leagues, and Eric Hutton and the Sad Boys.
Alrighty, Bailey, congrats on the P2 run, and we will see you in a week's time or so.
Appreciate it.
That was Bailey Turner, 2nd place runner here tonight from Lime Rock Park.
We have one more driver to talk to here just before we go on to Auto Club, and that is the driver who has put it back to back in victory lane. Brody Hayes in the number 37. Back-to-back wins now for this team, and I gotta say, Brody, this one was another one of those nail biters. We didn't know if you were actually going to dominate and win this thing, or if somebody was going to move you out of the way. Pressure was on for 65 laps tonight.
Yeah, it was. That's not how I expected it to go. It was a lot of fun there at the beginning. Me and Ryan were, I mean, pretty much identical on pace. It was just whoever was going to make the mistake. We got the comp caution there, and that's when we realized it was going to be a fuel mileage race. And I got into fuel saving mode, and I was talking about pitting early and then just going hard. And when I was about to pull off and pit, I looked and saw I was within a lap to the good, and was able to save it. And I saw Bailey behind me, and that was the last person I wanted behind me. He's really good at saving fuel and still going fast. And I knew he was going to push me really hard. And every time he'd turn up the wick, I'd turn it up a little bit just to keep him behind me. And I kind of missed my mark in the uphill turn, and it kind of got me sideways. And when I gathered it up, he kind of bumped me at the same time, and it just kind of sent him off. And it wasn't intentional. I didn't mean to do it. I just hated that it happened, because it was gonna be a heck of a battle to the end.
Yeah, we watched every single lap of it. It was kind of hard to look away, because when you go back to the beginning stage of this race, well, I'd say competition caution. Prior to that, you had the 6 of Gimmel hot on your tail. And then when we come back green, the top 3 leave the field. You had you, Turner, and Levi Cox running 1, 2, 3 within probably 3/10 of each other for about 15 laps. When you're talking about turning up the temperature or burning that wick a little bit more every single lap, how difficult is it to gauge your fuel strategy when you have someone filling up the mirror like that?
I mean, it's real hard, because like I was right on the number the whole time, and like I could go hard for a straightaway, and then I'd be, maybe a half a lap short, and then I'd have to save that. And I knew he was going to be going hard, and he'd kind of send it in there a couple corners and get onto my bumper. And it was just kind of managing that and managing my fuel at the same time. And when I would have a gap down the front straightaway, I'd save hard going into one. And like it was a lot of mirror driving at a road course, which was new to me. I don't do that a whole lot. And I mean, it's hard to hit your marks and save fuel and be fast and not get passed all at the same time. So I'm glad I was able to come out on top. Yeah, from the mirror. Yeah, I'd look out my windshield just to make sure I was gonna hit the corner, but other than that, I was looking behind just to see where he was at. But yeah, I mean, it sucks we weren't able to race hard. If we were able to race hard, I think it'd be a little bit of a different story. I think Ryan was going to be up there for sure, but it's just kind of one of them deals that happens here at these road courses, and and I ended up on the good side of it.
Brady Hayes, congratulations on back-to-back weeks here and putting together a solid start to week number 5 now into the season. You take over the points lead. You were tied with your teammate Keith Mayato, now officially the points leader. Anybody you want to shout out while we have you in the booth?
Yeah, shout out to everybody at BTDY puts this on. We had 30 cars tonight at a road course. That's amazing, and everybody did a phenomenal job. So hats off to everybody tonight. You guys in the booth, as always. It's always a fun time going back and to watch these. And I know he didn't have the best night, but I'm sure everybody in this league and VSPEED's aware of Ryan and all the hard work he's been putting in to, make this racing thing happen. And the 2 times he's gone out in his ARCA car, he's been top notch. Great pace this past weekend, and I was happy to be able to spot for him and help him out. So, I know how hard he works and how bad he wants it. So for him to keep getting these opportunities and to keep getting the good results is really cool to see. So, yeah, that's about all I got.
Brady Hayes, we'll see you at Auto Club in 1 week's time. Might have a different broadcast group up here, but nonetheless, VSPEED will catch you there in 7 days.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Driver the 37 off to a commanding start. Another dominating performance, 65 laps led, and puts it all together from the pole to go to victory lane. So there you have it for this week. Alex Gagnon, any final thoughts before we let him go?
I tell you what, I can't help but feel that we were a little bit robbed of what could have been an all-time finish here tonight with how those guys were racing at the tail end of this one. Still an incredibly exciting race here tonight, Lime Rock. These ARCA cars put on a surprisingly stellar show, in my opinion, and I had a ton of fun from start to finish.
Another successful production here and another great race from BTDY. You can catch us in 1 week's time when we go to Auto Club Speedway. Until then, though, for the FloridaSkinDoctor.com BTDY Racing Series and the KHIO 75, we're saying so long from Lime Rock Park. On to Auto Club. Till then, stay tracking, everybody.